Welcome to round 13 of the 2012 GP4 Offline Championship, the Italian Grand Prix at the Monza circuit. I am your host for today, George Roke, and welcome to another round of what has been so far a thrilling OC season. So last time out at Belgium, the race was won by Jiri Mata, and no surprise as to who got driver of the day, which was Jiri Mata. The race rating was given a 7 out of 10, and also some team news for this week is that Ferrari have retained both Weisskubert and Joseph Williams for next season, not really much of a surprise, and that Toro Rosso have retained Franco Gamba for next season. So there should be an interesting race. We had a dry qualifying session, so I'm very much looking forward to this one of the fastest tracks on the calendar. We've got several famous corners. We've got the Parabolica, we've got the two Lesmos, we've got the Ascari chicane, we've got the first chicane, which is always going to throw out some action because this is Monza and there's always action at that first chicane. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens there. We have the Curva Grande as well. 53 laps, 11 corners, and the tyres that will be used this race are softs. So anyway, here is the grid. Jiri Mata taking another pole position for McLaren with Vico Holsten second, Felix Sonntag in third, Miklas Gau in fourth, and all Ferrari third row of the grid with Weisskubert in fifth and Joseph Williams sixth. Jamie Mackenzie is in seventh, followed by Florian Volker in eighth for Red Bull. Ninth place is Alex Southgate, followed by Rivki Parkzane for Sauber in 10th. As we move further down the order, Robert Inescu in 11th, followed by Kirosima De Rosa in 12th place. In 13th place is George Roke for Lotus, followed by Amar Khan in the other Force India. 15th place on the grid, on to row 8 of the grid, is Alan Wolf and Sam Thompson for Williams and Toro Rosso respectively. Roland Moichin 17th for Williams, 18th Oliver Glazebrook I should say, for KTM and 18th. Roman Quang 19th for KTM, 20th Sean Grant for Virgin, 21st Franklin Gamba, not a good qualifier from him, and 22nd last on the grid is Zachary Fitzwater for Virgin. So anyway, let's have a look at what the weather is going to be like for the race. And as you can see, there will be light rain come around 30 minutes in the race, but as we get to the hour mark, which will be nearish the end of the race, the rain will get heavier, and it will in fact be relatively heavy at the end of the race. So this should be fascinating indeed. So let's see what this weather will throw up at us. But anyway, so that for the moment the race will be dry, so we'll be starting in dry conditions. Jiri Mata on the pole position. Second place is Viggo Holst, who is going to take the win at the Italian Grand Prix. The 5 lights are now on, and the lights are out, and we're underway. And Jiri Mata seems to have got a good start in first place. Sonntag's not made a great start, although the Red Bull of Volker is trying to squeeze through there, but he hasn't. Sonntag has kept third place, or has he, as now the Ferrari comes through, and there was a bit of contact there at the back, and Holst has gone over wide, and Mata's nearly gone into the Ferrari there, and there's a stack up, and there's debris flying everywhere. At the first chicane, something has happened at the back, as we look at Weisskubert, and Inescu's missing debris. As we look at George Roke coming through, anyone else? Rivki Parkzane, Amar Khan, Thompson, and there's a couple of other cars, I think, involved as well. And what has happened here? And Sonntag has gone off, so we need to have a look at what has happened here. So I saw there was contact with Sonntag, so the Ferrari of Willows went through, and actually Sonntag got hit by someone from behind. Was it Weisskubert or was it Mackenzie? I'm not sure. But there's Inescu actually going back into the back of someone there, so Rivki Park was saying he made a bit of contact with Inescu, but that wasn't where the debris was, and he got hit by the Force India there of Car. But oh, look at that, it was the Toro Rosso that went into Car, and actually there was a bit of contact with George Roke, with Rivki Park saying as well, but Roke got away without any damage. But Sam Thompson has caused that massive, well, pile-up, so to speak, at the first chicane, and I expected there'd be something dramatic happening in the start, but I mean, not this dramatic. So Sam Thompson has, I mean, look at that, he just goes right into the back of, I believe that was De Rosa or Car, I'm not sure, but Inescu went into the back of the Mercedes there as Southgate, who was lucky not to lose any debris from his car, or in fact the wheel, as you look at all the cars going past, the cars who haven't been damaged. So it looks like the two, the Caterhams have managed to get away without any damage, as there's De Rosa, so it was in fact Car, as I suspected, that was involved on the first lap. Sonntag's actually got away without any damage as well, as we head towards the chicane, as we head through for the first time, as they're coming through the two Lesmos. So currently Holst is in the lead, Mata is in second, just holding off from Volker in third, and coming through, and there's a wheel bouncing there, so someone I think has gone off then at that corner. And who has gone off through the order in the yellow flag? And it's Rivki Parkzane, and Rivki Parkzane has gone off. I think he's either gone off on his own accord, or he's been hit by someone. So what has happened at the second chicane, and let's have a look. And so what happens? So there was there's a Caterham making a late move down the inside, but that wasn't the problem. It was Zachary Fitzwater that was the problem, who was making a move on Franco Gamba in the Toro Rosso, who was overtaking him on the inside, and then he made a late lunge, and he so nearly got past, but unfortunately collided with Farquharson there, and Fitzwater, I believe, has actually got away without any damage. But unfortunately for Farquharson, he is out of this race. And oh my goodness me, that is not what he wanted, as all the damaged cars head towards the Ascari chicane. As you look, and there appears to be yellow flags waving, so something else has happened at the chicane, and oh my word, and that is Waze Kuba, whose car is completely destroyed. There's debris everywhere. There's been a major accident at the Ascari chicane, and oh my word, what has happened here? And so we need to see how Kuba is retired from this race. I don't imagine it was by himself, but we need to have a look and see. So let's go on board with him. And oh no, was it between his teammate Joseph Willers? Have these two collided again? And let's have a look. So Kuba was trying to get past Willers, and Willers forced him out a little bit, you could say. And they did make contact, and Kuba spun, and so did Willows. They both spun on the track, and Volker hit him, and then oh my word, and then Kuba's car was splitting off. He was hit by George Rogan the Lotus. We go on board with Volker, who managed to avoid the first Ferrari of Kuba, but then unfortunately had nowhere to go. And hit Willows in the other Ferrari. But wow, Kuba's car completely decimated by Roke there into the Ascari chicane. Let's have a look at it again. So he was coming through, and then suddenly sees a bit of dust, and then Kuba just unfortunately kind of rejoins right in front of him there, and there was nowhere really for Roke to go, and that is his car completely destroyed. And that's Kuba out of the race, and Roke, no surprise, loses his front wing as Willows and Volker hold up the rest of the pack as they come through, as so did Roke. So fortunately no other cars retire. Well, somehow we've only had 2 cars retire on this first lap. I don't know how we didn't have at least 5 or 6. My word, this has been some first lap, but Holst currently leads, Marner in second, Gal in third, Mackenzie fourth, Southgate in fifth, Wolf in sixth, but he's got about 4 cars behind him here. Glazebrook, Quag, and I believe Moitian all battling for 6th place here. De Rosser on the inside of Wolf coming into the first chicane. Is he going to take 6th place? And the answer is he? But he goes a little bit wide, and oh no, he's gone wide, and he's going to lose it, is he or not? He comes back on the track. There's a Williams who's gone wide. And now the Caterham of Quag has come through, and he's now right behind in 7th place. Wolf is in 8th, as Glazebrook is now battling with Moitian for 9th place as they head through Curva Grande and head towards the second chicane on the track. What a first lap we've had it side by side. Is Quag going to make it into 6th place? What a start for the Caterhams. He does make up to 6th. De Rosser goes a bit wide again and somehow avoids contact with Wolf, and now Glazebrook has a chance to get through, coming into the first of the 2 Lesmos. He can't do, he has to back off there and back out of it as they come through the first Lesmo. So as there's De Rosser just out in front as Wolf defends, but that's not gonna that's gonna give Glazebrook a chance to have a go at him. But they're all gonna have a go at him coming into the Ascari chicane as they're heading towards that right now. There's several cars involved in this pack as now we look at De Rosser, and is Glazebrook going to make it stick? And yes, he does. Wolf goes a little bit wide, and Gamba makes it through into 9th as well. Wolf down to 10th place, Moitian 11th. As they make it through, as we look back at the front, as Gow is now battling with McKenzie for 3rd, Southgate right behind in 5th place as they come across the line. We're on lap 3 already, and Marta actually has taken the lead as well. So what has happened here? Yuri Marta has taken the lead, and where did this happen? Did this happen at the first chicane? In fact, yes, it didn't. Oh, that was why. So Hulk says he went wide. He braked too late, and he got a bad run out of the first chicane, and then heading towards the Curva Grande, Yuri Marta just went alongside and took the lead off him. And there was Gal, who was right behind him there, trying to make a move, and I believe, did he make it stick? As we look on board, and Marta really pushing him out, a bit like what Vettel did with Alonso in 2012, and oh, that's why. So Gal had made a stick, but Holst was going to make sure that he didn't, and Mackenzie went onto the gravel to avoid contact. Oh my word, and Southgate trying to make it move as well. I need a breath. And as Glazebrook now making, as we look at Glazebrook, sorry, making the move on Wolf, coming into the Ascari chicane. And what a first 3 laps or so we've had of this Grand Prix. Who knows what's going to happen when it gets wet later on in the race? But Glazebrook made it stick. It was clean in the end, so no real complaints as there's Cooper's car getting pushed away. As we look now back onto the action, we look at Gal, who's now right behind Viggo Holst, who's going to make a move coming into the second chicane, and Southgate is making a move on Mackenzie as well. And Gal is on the inside, and he makes it stick as Holst goes a little bit wide, but he keeps it on the track. But now he's got Southgate right behind him, and Southgate's going to take advantage straight away. and he moves up into 3rd place. So Holst loses 2 positions in 2 laps. And oh, Mackenzie goes wide in the background, coming into the first Lesmo. Oh my word, and oh, that's a dodgy place to stop. I don't know why he has, because there's no cars coming through there. But as Mackenzie coming through, he was running in 5th, and unfortunately just went a bit too wide there. That is not what he wanted at all. And he stopped, so I'm hoping he can get going, because that is pretty much the worst place to stop on the track. Now Quark's coming through, and he does avoid it, so, and he moves a little bit more, but that's not going to help, as now Glazebrook is coming through the corner. He avoids it. Now all the other cars are going to have to come through and slow down and avoid him at a very fast speed there. Not great there from Mackenzie. He could have just tried to overtake him there. As now we look, and I believe this is Franco Gamba battling for 8th place. He's now trying to get past De Rossa in 7th, coming down the front straight, and now Gamba's right behind De Rossa. He's got so much speed and so much slipstream, he's surely just going to steam right past him. And he makes a move for 7th place, and he now makes it. Oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't make it stick. Oh, and there was nearly contact there. Oh, and I thought Gamba had done it there, and he has blown it, and Sontag nearly makes contact with the Virgin there. Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh, wow. I mean, Gamba, I thought he'd made the move stick, but he locked up, and he somehow, De Rossa almost made contact, and then, look here, Sontag also went wide, trying to get past, I think it was Zachary Fitzwater, I believe, as now we look at Moitian battling, and oh, there's a car gone off, coming round. I think that is into the Parabolica, and that is De Rossa, and he is out of this race, and he made such a good start, taking advantage of all the carnage that happened, but unfortunately, he has just thrown that all away, and that is in fact at the Parabolica, like I suspected it was. It went way too wide there, and went straight into the wall, and that is the day finished for him. So we had a very dramatic 5 laps of this race. Who knows what is going to happen in the second half? Now here we are looking at the battle currently for the lead between Miklos Gau and Jiri Marta. As now Gau is right behind Marta coming on the straight. Marta's not exactly making it easy for him, but Gau surely is going to have this move done before the first chicane. It's side by side, and Gau, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it stick? Is he going to lock up? Who knows what's going to happen? We don't know. But Marta, just about gives up the place, but he'll try and hold on to his tail for the moment. But Miklos Gau takes the lead, although he's on a different strategy to Marta. He's got 19 laps, Marta, and whereas Gau has only got, I think, 5 more, from what I saw on the screen. Now here is Southgate, who is right behind Jiri Marta, so obviously they're on different strategies here, so I reckon probably Gau is going for the 2-stop, and I think probably Marta, I reckon, is going for the 1-stop, I reckon, if he's got 19 laps of fuel. So this is going to be interesting to see how this works out, a 1 or a 2. It really depends on the pace, but Marta, I suppose he doesn't necessarily need to battle with these guys, just needs to make sure his pace is at least somewhat good, so he doesn't drop too far off the front runners. So at least he now has some space to, to deal with. And now Miklos Gau comes in for his first stop. So let's see what fuel they put into his car. So they changed the tyres, put on a fresh set, 19 laps. So that will go to around about the lap 30 mark. So I mean, he could really go to the end. So well, he'll certainly pit again, but I imagine he'll go to the end after that stop. It would be stupid of him to do a 3-stop, I reckon. I think it has to be a 2, as Southgate looks like he's going to be doing, although he's going a little bit longer, but I think he'll be doing the exact same thing as Gal, as he now comes out of the pits into P5, Gal in P4, and Roman Quagg is now up into P2. I mean, you don't see this every day. So take a picture everyone, screenshot it, because you won't ever see that ever again. So Roman Quagg is up into P2 for the time being, but it won't last for long, because he'll have to pit anyway. But here is Moitian trying to overtake George Roque coming into the Ascari chicane. There was nearly contact. They've just about got away with it, and is Roque finally going to get the move done? And I think he has. And now Carr is going to be right behind, trying to get past the Williams, coming onto the back straight before the Parabolica. He's now going to be on the inside of Moitian as they head towards the Parabolica, and he's now going to make the move stick, is he? And yes, he does, and he's now up into P13, Roque just ahead of him in P12. So is Moitian going to try and have a go back? He's just about got the slipstream. I think he is going to try and have a go back, to be honest, and he's going to try and have a go with it coming into the first chicane. Is he going to try and make it, or is Carr going to make it difficult for him? And he's still, I think, going to go for it. It's not going to end well, and I mean, you could just see that coming. And Moitian and Carr have collided. I mean, I could just literally tell that was going to come a mile off. I mean, I don't. So unfortunately, Amar Carr is out of this race. Moitian's going to have to go in the pits. A really unnecessary collision, I'd have to say. But I mean, what can you do, really? So anyway, Carr, let's have a look at it again from his point of view. I mean, you can see this amount of speed that Moitin was carrying over 345 kilometers an hour. That must be like 220 miles an hour, roughly. But I mean, you could just see Moitin kind of try to move there that just really wasn't on. And he is now going to have to go into the pits. He's going to have to go a whole lap without his front wing, and that's going to allow George Roke to get away in front of him. But that is not what he needed, and not what Williams needed at all, really. But anyway, so Carr is now out of the race, and oh, now Southgate is out of the race. Oh my word! And what has happened here? So now Oliver Glazebrook is in. We've got Caterhams in P2 and P5, Glazebrook in 5th, and Quag in P2. So what happened then? So Southgate was coming into the Ascari chicane, and he went a little bit wide, and it was an error all on his own making. I rarely see anyone actually making an error like that coming into the Ascari chicane. I rarely see anyone going into that other tyre wall, but unfortunately for Southgate, he has thrown away what probably could have been a podium, I reckon, from this race. But unfortunately, that is now not going to happen. So, I mean, I think the Caterhams are looking good for points here at the moment, with the way things are going. Everything seems to be swinging in their favour, and they're avoiding all the contact possible. So Volker now up into 10th, Sontag now up into 9th, respectively. This car being pushed away. So there's Holst in P3, Gall in P4. So now Oliver Glazebrook comes in for his first stop of this race. So let's see where he comes into the where he comes out, I should say, from his pit stop. So how much fuel they're going to put in? 21 laps. So I imagine he will do one more stop before the end of this race. So he comes out 4.7 second stop. That's pretty quick, I have to say. And he comes out, looks like just outside of the points in P10. And so he's in clean space as well, so it's all looking good at the moment. This yellow flag's still up for Carr as his car is being pushed away. It's difficult to try not to make puns with that because they're going to get old. Anyway, so Renault Moitin now finally makes it into the pits, and so does Sean Grant, comes in with 15 laps of fuel left. So does he have a problem? I don't know, but anyway, so he comes in for a stop, but Moitin is going to have to change his front wings, and his chance of points is, you can say, effectively over. And he comes out 6.1. That was a very quick one, I have to say. And Grant does a 5.8. So he lost his front wing as well. So 23 laps of fuels, and now as we look at Roman Quag, who's running in P2 for Caterham right now. I still can't believe it with my own eyes, to be honest. But we need to see actually what happened to Sean Grant here, because there's a reason why he'd gone into the pits. So was it a collision with Franco Gamba behind him? And oh yes, it was, and he got a fair hit from Gamba, and he went across the grass, and Gamba actually spun as well. So that is why Sean Grant had to go into the pits, and because I was wondering where Franco Gamba was. So that is what has happened. So that is why Grant had to come into the pits there. A bit of an unnecessary collision here. But what a start to the Italian Grand Prix we've had, and what a race we're having at the moment. And here is Roman Quag in P2, who is about to come into the pits. I mean, surely he can't get a podium. I mean, if that happens, then oh my word. I honestly don't know what to say, but anyway, he comes in from P2, so let's see. But he's certainly in the line for some points, so I'm hoping that he will get some points, because it would be good for Caterham to get some points on the board. So let's see how much fuel they put into his car. It is 24 laps of fuel. So he'll make one more stop before the end. 6.6, a bit of a slow stop there from the Caterham team. But they come out in P6, 6.6. Well, now P7, so unfortunately that kind of ruined it, because it would have been 3 6s. There's now Volker battling with Felix Sontag and Oliver Glazebrook here. And Sontag is on the inside. Glazebrook is also right behind. Surely Glazebrook isn't going to try and get both of these guys in a Caterham. He's surely not going to overtake a Red Bull, is he? Oh, maybe he's trying it, and he's punted Sontag, and they've all collided with each other, and they've basically stayed in the same positions, although Glazebrook's taken a very peculiar way of rejoining, but he now does rejoin, or does he? I mean, he's taken a bit of a detour on this grass here, doing a bit of rallycross, but now Roke has gone through into P10, and oh, that was just getting a bit too close for comfort there between the three. I mean, I thought Glazebrook would think better of that, but unfortunately tried to sneak through past Volker. It didn't really work out for him there, and so they all were involved in that collision, but that worked out actually particularly well for Sontag, who got a fair distance away from that lot, so that worked out pretty well for him, but not very well for Glazebrook and not very well for Volker, but worked very well also for George Roke behind, who's managed to make a position. Now here is Zachary Fitzwater battling with Robert Ionescu. Oh no, you can just see that wasn't going to work. They've both gone wide in the first chicane. Ionescu goes onto the grass, and he now rejoins behind Fitzwater in P12. As now we look at Fitzwater, who's once again having a go at Ionescu, coming onto the front straight, and he's now going side by side with Ionescu. Not what I don't think he really wants. He's been known to be wanting a higher seat than Sauber, considering the luck, so to speak, that he's been having this season. Although he hasn't had the best of races, certainly, as Fitzwater goes wide again, and now Ionescu's right behind him, and now so is Franco Gamba, and Gamba, is he going to try and sneak through past Ionescu here? Ionescu's going to try and go around the outside of the Curva Grande, but I think, or unless Fitzwater has it, I'm not sure, there's a blue flag out, so I think the leaders are catching up to him. Gamba's right behind Fitzwater, and he's now alongside, and surely he's going to make it stick for P12, and he now doesn't. Gamba's going to try and make it through into P13, and he does. Goes slightly wide, as now here comes, and oh no, Gamba didn't make it stick. He's gone wide, and now we've got Jiri Marta, who is set to lap these guys, as he's now right behind the two battling, as now Gamba is surely going to have to let Marta through, and he does so indeed. And now he's going to lap Fitzwater in front, so Gamba will now try and overtake him, surely. As we now look at Adam Wolf coming into the pits, and let's see how quick this stop will be. And it will be a 6.3 second stop, so he'll come out, looks like, I think, it will come out in this little battle, I think, possibly. He's going to come out behind Roke, he's going to come out behind Glazebrook, interestingly, and yes, he does. Now Joseph Willows comes into the pits for his first stop of the race. I imagine he'll have to, he will have to pit once more, I should say, before the end. I can't even get the words out, and yes, he will. 22 laps, so it'll be, he'll have a short stint in the end, but at least it means he'll go hammer and tom on the fresh set of tyres at the end of the race. And so where will he come out on track? He's going to come up behind Roman Quark, who at the moment is currently in P5. So this is some race that Caterham are having at the moment. And here's the battle continuing on for 7th place. Now Roke, Sontag and Volker are all involved here. Now Roke is trying to make it 3 wide going into the first chicane. That's not going to work. And I mean, you could just see that was going to happen there. And Roke has collided with Sontag. Sontag's gone off. And Volker, and there is Sontag who's spun. I believe Roken has still got ahead of Volker, but Volker will be right behind him coming into the second chicane. And I mean, 3 wide, I mean, let alone into the first chicane, well, on the track is dangerous, but let alone into the first chicane on this track anyway, was just never ever going to work. And Roke really, I mean, he tried it, but that was a fair whack on Sontag's car. I'm surprised he hasn't got any damage from that, Sontag or Roke, to be honest. But Volker is still behind Roke, so in essence, Roke has actually made the move stick on the two, although probably a bit rougher than I think you would have imagined. So Sontag is now going to have to rejoin all the way back in P11, as he now rejoins the track. As there's Ionescu coming across in P12, as Roke has made it stick into P7. So now here is Robert Ionescu, who is battling with Felix Sontag, as they're now coming into the Ascari chicane, and Ionescu is going to make it stick, is he? And he does so. He's up into 11th place, Sontag in 12th, and now they've got Jiri Marta, who's about to lap them, as they come now down the back straight before the Parabolica. As we look at Jiri Marta, who comes in the pits for his first, and I believe will probably be his only stop of the race. I'd be surprised if they would pit him again. So let's have a look. And are they going to fuel into the end? 30 laps. Yep, that is going to the end, as I thought. So the one stop is on here for McLaren. Has this strategy failed them, or will it be a stroke of genius? So let's see. Where will he come out on track? He'll come out, at the moment he's on 5.6, which is a decent stop. He's going to come out behind Gall. Is he going to come out actually ahead of Holst? Will be interesting to know. Where is Holst? And there he is. So Marta will come out ahead of Holst, and that could be important in the latter stages of the race, as Marta comes out through the first chicane. Jay McKenzie comes into his final stop at 6.1 for Lotus. And where will he come out on track? And the answer is he'll come out in P9, so he'll come out behind Adam Wolf. He'll come out ahead of Robert Ionescu, as there's Ionescu just coming around the Parabolica onto the start-finish straight. So McKenzie's got some free space ahead of him to make up some ground and hopefully get some points out of this race. As we look now at Sontag, who's battling with George Roke, so these two are going at each other again. We need to hope they do not collide with each other again, so we need to hope that this doesn't happen. As now Roke is right behind Sontag, and is he going to try and make a move? Sontag really forcing, and oh dear me, you could see that was going to happen. Another collision between the two, as Roke is now going to have to wait for Fitzwater to go by, so he will rejoin down in P14 by the looks of it. And he now does rejoin, although albeit very messy. So Sontag is now going to have to wait also for the cars to go by. You could just see that was going to happen once again, and that is very unfortunate there for the two, and that's going to affect them as Marta goes a bit wide coming out of the first chicane there. As they're still waiting, Roke and Sondog, and now Roke finally does. Oh no, he doesn't. He finally gets going. He'll now get going, surely. But we need to have a look at what happened again. But you could just see, unfortunately, that between the two, that it was never going to work. I mean, Sondog did come out quite late on Roke there, and Roke didn't really have anywhere to go, which spun them around. And so we're now basically at the halfway point of this race. And, well, I mean, what a race we've had. What a race that we really have had so far. My goodness. So, there is Yurimadu, who's running a bit wide. And now that's going to allow Hulkster a chance to catch up to him. As Roke now does rejoin. And now Sondog is still going to have to wait for more cars to go by. So, unfortunately, Sondog's race and any chance of points, unfortunately, are ruined. And he now finally does rejoin. Excuse me. As he now rejoins in P17. So, that is effectively last place, as he now comes out through the Curva Grande. There is Alan Wolf, and there's Glazebrook right behind him, and there's Mackenzie in 8th, looking to make some ground up on him. As we look at Volker, who's at the moment running in 10th place, and where is he going to come out on track will be interesting to know. He'll come out in will it still be P10 or will it P11? No, it will be P10, as Fitzwater's just coming round the Parabolica, and as you can see, I think you can see on the screen, it is starting to rain a little bit on the screen, so I think now the rain is starting to come. Now this is where it's going to get very, very interesting indeed. Now here you are looking at Mackenzie, who's going to pass Glazebrook, the P7, coming into the first chicane, coming down the front straight, and will he make a stick? No, Mackenzie goes a little bit wide, and he rejoins in front of Glazebrook, and they've made contact, and they're out of the race, and any chance of points, but Glazebrook is out the window, and Mackenzie as well, and that was an unfortunate collision there, as the rain has now started to come down, so I imagine the track is getting slippery, and Ionescu has hit the debris, and he is going to have to go into the pits for a front wing. Oh dear, that is just not what he wanted at all. But we need to have a look at the collision between Glazebrook and Mackenzie once again. This is a battle for P6, and Glazebrook is actually going to go and pit this lap. I don't know necessarily for wet tyres, but Team Mackenzie just goes a bit wide and goes onto the slippery bit, and unfortunately just has the collision there with Glazebrook. I don't really think you could probably blame anyone for that, because I think Mackenzie did try and steer as much as he could into the corner, and unfortunately for Robert Ionescu behind, who was running in 8th, and he was actually pitting soon anyway, so you could say that works out well for him, but he's still going to have to go through most of the race, lap I should say, with a broken front wing. That is not what he wanted at all, as he now comes through the first chicane, and now Sondog is going to be right behind him, as we now look here at the Ferrari of Joseph Williams, currently running in P3 at this moment in time, as we look now at the Williams of Roland Moyton making a move on Sean Grant, as he nearly loses control there, coming through the Ascari chicane. Managed to control it very, very well indeed, I should say. And let's have a look at that, I should say, the replay. So Moyton was coming through the right hand, and unfortunately Grant went on the grass and managed to do very well to save it, to be fair, but now he has got George Roke in the Lotus to contain behind him, but I don't imagine he'll probably put up much of a defence, as Roke is the faster car, as now Roke is about to come on the inside, and he now does make the move stick for P12, but not really much consolation for Roke. As you can see how wet the track now has become, and now here is where everyone is going to pit for wet tyres, and Roman Quagg, who's been running in P4 at the moment, what a race he's having. So he's currently in P4, and that's where the moment where he'll stay, unless Bigger Host has anything to say about that. But I saw he was only, I think, 5 seconds or so behind, so I imagine that will probably change. But it actually works out pretty well for the drivers, because he was actually pitting anyway for some more fuel, so it works out pretty well for him, and I think it will work out pretty well for all the other drivers there. So we look at Quagg, who's about to come out of the pit, so he looks like he's going to come out in P5, and he is, because Volker at the moment is nowhere to be seen. I don't know where he is, but Quagg comes out in P5. So unless Holst has anything to do with it, that is where Quagg will be. He will finish P5. Well, he might get P4, but I think Holst will probably catch him to get P4. So I imagine Quagg will finish P5. Here come the rest of the cars into the pits. So Sontag is in the pits, and there's a whole host of other cars that are in the pits as well. I should say. As we look, and Sontag comes out for 6.1, as he has to wait for a car to go by, has to wait for the Williams of Wolf to go by. There's, I think, Red Bull mechanics in the pits as well. And let's see where he comes out on the track. Excuse me. As Wolf now comes in for his stop. 6.1, Gamba now comes in for wet tyres. They're all going to come in for wet tyres. I imagine most of them this lap, and if not all of them, and most of them probably the lap after. Robert Ionescu comes in for his stop with, I believe, his broken front wing. Jiri Marta's in, Joseph Willows is in, Gal is in. As we look at all the cars coming in, as Joseph Willows comes out, he's had to wait for a few cars to go by, so that's not going to do his race any particular favour. But he comes out in P3. There's Gal who's coming out with no wheels. I think this is a sign of the future, of what the future of the OC is going to be like. No wheels. As now Sam Thompson comes into the pits for his final stop of the race on wet tyres. As he comes out onto the track. He's in P13 at the moment. He's behind Roke, so there's Sontag. So there's a few cars. I think Wolf, I think, was the only one who's yet to go on the wets. But there we have Nicolas Gal, who is currently going on no wheels. And as I said, guys, this is the future. So this is what the OC will be like without wheels, when everything will be taken over by robots. And we won't even have drivers in about 10-15 years' time. But anyway, here is a battle for 13th place between Sam Thompson and Sean Grant, and he has made the move stick, I believe, and he has just ahead of Grant as they come through into the two Lesmos. Grant right behind Thompson, and is he going to try and maybe mount an attack on the back straight before Ascari? I don't know. But anyway, we're looking, and oh, that's Franco Gamba's out of the race, and Franco Gamba just pulling off to the side of the track, and he was running in P8, and so unfortunately for Gamba, that is going to be 0 points for him on the board, and that is going to promote Robert Ionescu up into the points, and a point which he valuably needs. But I think this point was what Gamba really needed as well. Even though he has been confirmed at Toro Rosso, he still would prefer to get points and have a pretty good end to the season. As we now look at him coming into the first chicane. And as we look, and he pulled off, I think it was just coming through the Curva Grande. As we look, and I think and yes, that's where it goes, and he now pulls off to the side of the track right about now, and there it is. And unfortunately, goes into the wall at frustration at the fact that his car, unfortunately, has let him down. As we look at Roke, who's running in P10, and he will move up to P9. As you look at Ionescu, and well, no, Roke will not be staying in P9. He's hit the debris, he's hit the wheel, I should say, from Franco Gamba's car, and any chance of points that Roke now has now been pretty much obliterated in that instant. And I mean, it's been a pretty rough race for Roke there, but unfortunately it's not got any better, and so his chance of points is now officially over. As there's Roman Quagg running in 5th place at the moment, so I think Holst has got past him on the track, or in the pits, we don't know. And here it's actually a battle that is brewing at the moment for 2nd place between Nicolas Gal and Joseph Willows. So Jiri Marta's one-stop strategy has definitely worked here, because I mean, he's so far away in the distance. As Willows has gone wide coming into the Ascari chicane, and that might have eliminated his chances of catching Gal before the end. Oh dear me, he'd caught up to him. He's only less than a second behind him, but now he's going to have to hope that possibly maybe lap traffic, or the fact that maybe he'll hope that Gal might make a mistake for him to catch up before the end. Oh dear me. As we look at Willows coming through the end of the Ascari chicane, we look at Ionescu running in 8th, Roke obviously now having to pit with that broken front wing. But anyway, so here we are now on the last lap of the race, and once again Jiri Marta is leading this Grand Prix. And I mean, it's a shame that unfortunately he is not going to be entering next season, because he may be an old man, as he says himself, but he's still got it for sure. At the moment, he's got a comfortable lead over Nicolas Gal in 2nd, so Willows has not actually caught up to him, or if he has, he hasn't overtaken him yet. Got a 12-second, nearly a 13-second lead over Gal in 2nd, so that one-stop strategy for McLaren actually worked out pretty well this time, as he's now coming down the back straight, having come through the two Lesmos. He won last time out at Spa, thanks to, I believe he was on a 3-stop, and actually that worked out for him very well indeed, because that is what has got him the win. And this time McLaren have done, once again, another great strategy. They have been criticised, particularly they have been by Nicolas Gal when he was there, for their poor strategy choices, but when they do make a right, they are certainly effective, and for Jiri Marta, it has been super effective today. as now Yurimato is coming through the Parabolica for the final time. It may be too late for him to mount a title challenge at the midway point of the season, but Yurimato is showing he's still got it, and he comes down the front straight, and Yurimato is going to win the Italian Grand Prix. Congratulations to him. Zonto comes across the line in P14. So that's not the race that he would have wanted. He'll want to forget about this one very quickly indeed. Still 1 minute 18, 1 hour 18. That is still very quick for this race. Mingo Scout comes across the line in second. Willows in third. That mistake cost him a chance of getting P2 in the end. Alan Wolf comes across the line in P7. So that's a good amount of points for Williams. He comes across the line in 7th. Robbie Inescu is going to take a point for Sauber in 8th. A much needed point for him. Viggo Holst will come across the line in P4 for McLaren. He now comes across the line and now past the checkered flag as we look at him. And Roman Quagg, as he's going to come around the Parabolic, he's going to take his best ever finish and Caterham's best ever finish in the OC by coming across the line to take P5. There's going to be wild celebrations in the Caterham camp tonight. And Zachary Fitzwater is going to come around and he's going to take P9 for the second consecutive race in a row. How unfortunate. He would be pretty gutted that he's still one of the, I think, only 3 drivers yet to score points so far this season. He comes across the line in P9. Roland Moitin comes across the line in P10. Roke in P11. Thompson will come across in 12th. And Volker, I forgot about. I was going to say I thought that the car still waiting to come across, but Volker will be the last one to come across in P6. Oh wait, no, we've still got one more left. We've got Sean Grant who's going to come across the line in P13. And he now comes across the line to finish this race. And that is it. Race over. So there it is, Yuri-Masa, the Finn, the Flying Finn, is your winner of today's race. So now we'll take a look at the full race results with Yuri-Masa winning, with Miguel Ascau in second, Joseph Willis third, Viggo Holst fourth, Roman Quagg fifth, and Florian Volker sixth, the last one on the lead lap, with Adam Wolff and Ionescu completing the points with the following drivers a lap now. Adam Wolff, Ionescu, Fitzwater, Moitin, Roke, Thompson, Grant, and Felix Santoku, who is in fact 2 laps down. Franco Gambo is still classified despite his engine failure, with Mackenzie, Glazebrook, Southgate, Cart, De Rossa, Kuba and Park Hussein not finishing this race. So now we're going to have a take a look at the fastest laps of the Grand Prix. So Miguel Ascau was actually the fastest by just 8 thousandths from Willows, and actually Ionescu third with only 32 thousandths off. That's impressive. Gamba fifth. Yuri-Masa actually only 6th. Quagg in 7th. Wow. So I mean some surprising pace here from some of the drivers in the field. My goodness, as we look through the rest of the order, but some of these drivers obviously were involved early on, so they never got a chance to show their full potential. But anyway, we'll now head on to the driver's standings and the constructor's standings. So Viggo Holst leads with 63 points with Volker, 7 points behind on 56 with Kuba, 1 point in third on 53, Willows 4th on 51, and Miguel Ascau 5th with 50, so it's all very tight, only 6 points from 2nd to 5th. Roke 11 points behind in 6th, and Mackenzie on the same points in 7th. Evanburn 8th, Southgate 9th, and Yuri-Masa already up to 10th with those 2 wins on the board. Sontag 11th, Carr 12th, Moitin 13th, Parkinson 14th, Ionescu 15th, De Rossa 16th, Gamba and Quagg, Thompson, Wolf, Nella, and Glazebrook, all the others who scored points, with Zachary Fitzwater, Michael Mocho, and Sean Grant, the only drivers yet to score a point. So in the constructors, it's quite tight here too. So with McLaren, well, they are 20 points ahead, with Ferrari and Red Bull on the same points on 106, with the Lotus 38 points behind in 4th, Mercedes, who are 45 points behind in 5th place, Force India, who themselves are 17 points behind Mercedes, and Sauber on the same points. Williams just 1 point behind, and Toro Rosso only 2 points behind, and Caterham actually only 8 points behind. So it's very tight there as well, with Marussia the only team so far in this season yet to score points. Well, that has been, I need to take a breath. That has been the Italian Grand Prix. Definitely one of the best races of the season, I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to, as usual, vote for your drive of the day and give the race a rating out of 10. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you for the next round at the Singapore Grand Prix at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Thanks for watching, and see you then.